Hello and welcome to the Courage to Talk and Grow Rich Masterclass. This is a re-recorded replay. For some of you who joined me yesterday, we had a few technical glitches, mainly down to the fact that I logged into the wrong Zoom account and we got cut off halfway through. So rather than sending you a two-part recording, I am re-recording it this morning so that you get the full benefit of all of the details that I shared yesterday and then some. So here we are. You have expressed an interest in learning more about what does it mean to have the courage to talk and grow rich. Well, in this masterclass, I'll be sharing with you some of the key issues that entrepreneurs and coaches in particular face when they are trying to attract new clients into their business, and some of the problems that they have had when they don't attract quite the right people, and what it might be costing you to actually not be speaking up, not be getting visible, and not pressing the go live button on social media. So I'm going to share some slides with you. I should appear in the bottom corner of your screen as well. So I'm just going to click on share slides now. And here we are. So the courage to talk and grow rich, how to share your message to attract aligned paying clients, because for many people are either struggling for clients or they are attracting the wrong sort of clients, the problematic ones. I'll go into that in a little while, but this is the premise of today's masterclass. So tips for watching the masterclass: if you have any distractions around you right now, phones, kids, husbands, TVs, switch them all off, tell them to go for a nice long walk and give you the privacy so that you can allow yourself the gift of focus. Grab a drink and be free to take some notes. So you are in the right place if you are a conscious coach, a healer or a change maker of some sort, who's currently attracting the wrong sort of clients or not enough clients. And the clients that you might be having now are the ones who I deem to be the uncommitted. You know, the ones, the complainers, the excuse makers, and the cut price seekers, maybe even a freebie seeker. But if they spent some money with you, they're the biggest pains in the bottom, and they demand your time. They don't take action on the exercises and the work pieces that you set for them. And quite frankly, they're draining your energy and you've had enough. What you really want is to be able to speak to better quality clients, the ones who trust in what you do, the ones who will pay a good value price to work with you, and the ones who will actually take the action steps required for them to get the piece of transformation that you offer to them. But right now, you're afraid of being judged. So, you know, it happens to us all. Yesterday, for me, I messed up with the tech stuff, and, you know, there were comments made, and that's okay. That's just people expressing their opinion. I was probably my own biggest critic for messing up anyway. But, you know, it doesn't matter if people have opinions and judgments of you. What other people think of you is none of your business. It's theirs. So don't ever feel afraid because you worry about what people are thinking. So don't let that stop you from going live. But yes, I appreciate that when you are looking at stepping up to attract different clients into your business, it can feel a little bit scary sometimes. So I want to help you through that. You're also in the right place today if you're a coach or an entrepreneur and you want to reach those clients because you're sick to death of being paid peanuts. So maybe your income levels are being compromised because you have been spending too much time working with problem clients. You might want to take your business to the next level, and right now is the perfect time, and I'll explain why that is during the presentation. If you want to raise your appearances on as a guest expert on many of the webinars, teleclasses, special appearances that go on social media, this is a perfect time to think about doing that so that you get more visible to more people to sell whatever it is that you're offering. But right now you're scared to do that. So again, I want to help you through that today. This isn't for you. This class is simply not for you if You are an uncommitted client. If you are refusing to take the action and work on yourself, if you are just seeking another freebie, if you might know me and you think, well, I'll go on Jackie's teleclass because, hey, it's free. That is not the right attitude to look at these pieces of information that I'm sharing with you today. There are gems in here that will help you to grow your business. So no more freebie seeking. If you are not prepared to commit to changing your situation, so if something brought you to this class, and if you're not prepared to take the action steps and shift where you are now, then you're probably not the right client, because I'll warn you now, I will be making an offer at the end of this teleclass. It's entirely up to you, your choice, whether you do or you don't take it any further with me, but there will be an offer at the end. So for those of you who judge those who sell, maybe this isn't the right class for you, but there will be stuff to help you throughout the teleclass. So if you're not willing to act and listen, probably not the right teleclass or the masterclass for you today. So my promise to you over the next hour or so is to help you understand the missing link between where you are now and where you're seeking the success in your business. So let's look at what is it, that root cause that's keeping you in fear to go live and speak, to understand what your next steps of the journey will be. And it's all based on proven techniques and practical experience that I have applied in my own business. So in return, I ask that you pay attention, you suspend any judgment, and continue making those notes as we go. So stay with me to the end, because as I mentioned, there will be some special offers. And for those of you who joined me on the live, I do have a list of your names. I have something extra special for you for showing up live yesterday. So during the masterclass today, we're going to take a look at the biggest 3 mistakes that coaches make when they are trying to grow their business, but it keeps them small and usually keeps them pretty unprofitable as well. So I want to bring those to your awareness so that you don't make those mistakes anymore if you're already making them. I'll also talk about what you need to do to attract more of the right sorts of clients, and I'll take you through my 5-step framework to become a credible expert speaker, which will help you to become rich in your niche. Or I don't know whether to say niche or niche in that. Depends where you're from in the world, doesn't it? So the problem as I see it right now is that too many people are too lost. When it comes to social media, you might look on the news feeds and you go, oh, there's too many coaches out there. There's too many people offering what I'm offering. And that makes you too scared to speak because you're afraid of being compared with all the other people in your market out there. And you think that actually it's all getting a bit me too. There's 101 life coaches, maybe 101 energy healers, maybe 101 people who want to change the world by meditating or whatever it is that they're talking about. I know at the moment on certainly on Facebook, there are 101 5-day challenges that you can join in with, aren't there? And it can feel a little bit too overwhelming too. So you don't want to be lost in the sea of social media because of lack of differentiation. So what's really important is, if you are going to go out there and speak to the world, is that you speak from that authentic place and speak your truth, so that you're not just spouting the same old stuff that everyone else is, and you step aside from what they're actually doing. Because if you don't, it will just lead to a lack of cash, because you won't attract the clients, they won't pay to hire you, and your bank balance remains fairly empty. So too lost. Though the result of too lost is poor coaches. I'll talk about the 2 poor coaches and clients missing out. Now, poor coaches fall into 2 categories for me on this topic. Now, this isn't meant to be a criticism, it's an observation. But I mentioned earlier that there are lots of 5-day challenges out there, lots of coaches vying for people's attention on social media right now, whether that's in the form of videos, photographs, posts. But particularly with posts where there's a live video link, or maybe a bit of a class or a selling exercise for them, there's quite a lot of coaches out there that actually I know to be true, because I know them personally, haven't qualified as a coach. They are making it up as they're going along. Many of the people who are talking about 6-figure businesses don't have one. And for me, that is a place of poor, because it's out of integrity and it is not with the client's best interests at heart. It's people who are purely in it for the money. And for me, that is not the right place to approach a business. But also there are lots of people who have got valuable wisdom, years of experience, really great qualifications, and they stay poor because they don't have the courage to reach out and speak. So poor coaches fall into two categories for me. And you know, I think it's time that people who have got really good quality experience do share their messages out there and have the courage to do so, because there are, as we said, clients who are missing out. If you don't show up, those clients either will suffer with the current problem that they're facing, or they'll go somewhere else, maybe to one of the coaches who are not qualified to serve them in their best interest. So if you don't get out there, you start losing faith, you start losing opportunities, your self-esteem will start to plummet because you're not having conversations with people, you're not getting out there, and as we've said, the clients miss out. So let us talk about the last 7 months without mentioning the C word. I call this period the big retreat. So it has been an uncertain time, and it continues to be so, because people are actually looking for answers, because there is uncertainty around and there's been great shifts. But actually it's a time of great opportunity if you have a product or service that offers any of the following. If you have messages, programs, coaching, healing that offers people hope, a way out of pain, transformation, support, or the major shift that they've been seeking, then you have the perfect opportunity. So don't allow the fact that you may be having to spend more time at home, that you can't physically go out and be with a crowd of people or be on a stage, let that put you off. The opportunity for making video, for going live on social media to reach new clients is at its peak. You've got to be succinct with your message though, because there's a lot of people vying for that attention right now. So please know that if you have programs of hope, transformation or shift, massive opportunity for you. So the current reality, I've used the analogy. So at the start of lockdown, we talked about herd immunity, not spelt like that, where we would all go out and get virally infected. Sweden, it seems to have worked for us. We haven't tried that. So how are you not being heard? Herd immunity is when you're not being heard, you're not being seen, because you're not making the lives and the videos. So you remain a secret because you're unheard. You're questioning why you're not progressing, and the big retreat might have had you questioning, well, what do I do now? And you might be feeling quite isolated right now. Well, the way around that is to reach out to more people, and one of the ways of doing that is to go out there with live videos. So just know that you need to turn from herd immunity into having a herd community. So create your own community of people who like what you have to say, and be brave enough to go out there and do that consistently. So the dream you might have is that your voice gets out there. You want to tell your truth to the world, but that's still a bit scary. So your voice is magic if you can learn how to use it properly, learn what messages that you need to get out in the right way. And if you create videos, they can go viral. I've just used the analogy of the current situation here. So remember, you could be saving lives with your message right now. If you have programs, processes, steps, ways of working with people that offer them hope around physical, emotional or mental pain, there is an increase in problems around that right now because of people's situations. So you could save lives if you have the courage to go and speak live. Mental mind games, that's all it is that's happening right now. There's a spiritual shift going on behind the scenes, and the media hype with what's going on is a mental mind game, and if you allow it, it will drag your energy down. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for many of the clients out there that it's happening to. But with the right support, your voice, your message, we could help that. So I have said for quite a while now, long before all of our situation of 2020, that I was a bit of a wake-up call for people. Now, at the start, it was about holistic health. Then it went into helping people to start businesses. And now I feel like there is a spiritual awakening. We are not far off the age of Aquarius dawning on us in the next few months. And from that, there are lots of people with very soulful, very spiritual messages that need to be heard in the world. And my role, as I see it, is to help more of those people have the courage to voice those spiritual truths and help other people in the world. So I consider myself to be a wake-up call. I hope you do too. We need to create more infectious messages of hope that appeal to clients. So by making the videos that can actually help, and then you can start tracking your success as you get more visible and trace your pathway to being a soul-led speaker. So anybody with a vital message of hope and transformation, I consider to be a soul-led speaker. So don't have to be in financial lockdown, because there are lots of opportunities for you to be heard and speak online, which then offer you the opportunity to offer your programs, your sessions, and the ways of working with you, which can create considerable income for you. So for those of you who've not met me before, I've got some new people that have expressed an interest in this particular masterclass. My name is Jackie Tilliard, and I am I was a very passionate salsa dancer. Unfortunately, I haven't got to do a great deal of it because all the dances are closed at the moment, but up until February, I was out 2 or 3 times a week, as I have done for the last 10 years. It's a passion of mine. I love my little collie dog, Misty, and I've spent lots of time with her over the last 6 months. I'm an avid learner, so I'm constantly upgrading my learning capacity, particularly in business and on the spiritual front. I'm a soul-led speaker because I believe I have important messages to share with people who want to improve their business and their spiritual well-being. For the last 3 years, I've been a celebrant, so I have delivered personalised funerals, wedding ceremonies and baby namings. So the funeral work takes priority. There are more opportunities there, but I consider that to be soul work too, where I'm helping families through a grieving process, and it's my honour to actually give the person who's died a fitting and dignified send-off to celebrate their lives. So I will speak with a family and write something very personal for them and then deliver it on the day. I'm also an energy shifting ninja. 3 or 4 years ago, I trained as one of the very first 30 energy alignment method mentors across the world, and I've been sharing those tools and using them on myself to help to release those pesky things like fear and anger and frustration and all of the other nasty emotional feelings that we store unconsciously on our physical body and in our etheric bodies. And I help other clients to do that. That is a key part of my work, and I'm pretty good at doing it. I'm pretty fast at spotting the core issue and ninja at shifting it. I live in Leicestershire in a lovely rural village, and as I've mentioned before, hopefully I'm a wake-up call for you today. So I walk my talk. As I've said before, I speak for a living. As a celebrant, we have to speak to audiences, some quite tough audiences sometimes, because a grieving audience is quite a difficult thing to work with sometimes, and it's still can be challenging. So I walk my talk. Here's where I've been for the last 30 years. I know, I wish that only said 15 or 20 years, but actually it's 30. So for the last 30 years, I've got proven experience when it comes to speaking, communicating and getting my message across. I was in corporate sales for a number of years. I was a very successful sales account manager, working for some very large companies. And around 20 years ago, I found myself chasing my tail 45,000 miles a year up and down the motorway across the UK, and I had one of those days too many. I sat in a queue on the M25 going nowhere fast, late for an appointment, and on the evening I went to an awards ceremony at a very beautiful 5-star hotel on Park Lane in London. And I looked around the dinner table that I was sat at, and I looked around, and there wasn't one single person that I liked or respected. And I thought, what am I doing this for? I'm making myself ill. I don't even like these people. And I felt like I was selling my soul to the corporate devil. So not long after that, I found myself in the position where I had got too stressed out. I burnt out, and I had to walk away from that career for my own sanity and for my physical health. So at that time, it was around the time of Princess Diana's death, actually. That was the seed that said I needed to wake up and change, not do this job anymore. And for a couple of years, I allowed it to get better of me. And you know what it's like when the universe gives you a slap in the face? Well, mine was crash and burn. And I was offered solutions to get well with antidepressants and beta blockers, which I refused, and I got well naturally. So that led me to train in holistic therapies, which I did for a while, but I like to talk to people, and people who come for therapies fall asleep on your couch. So 6 months into my new self-employed career as a holistic therapist, I discovered I had to have a pretty damn quick rethink. And I ended up as hosting a networking event, actually, which led me into training as a business coach and mentor for a number of local enterprise agencies. And then during that time, I was speaking, I was running events, I ran training sessions, I trained as an NLP master, and later, as I've said, I've added on some additional energy things like Reiki and access consciousness, but for me, work predominantly with energy alignment, and now do the work as a celebrant, as well as coaching people to speak live online or to an audience. So as you can see, I've earned my living speaking from soul, particularly right now. I'm always acting from a place of integrity. So it's really important to me. And that was one of the reasons I brought the issue up around people who are not properly qualified. And I know so many people work hard, earn money, invest in programs with people who cannot deliver for them. So I hope that my experience demonstrates that I can help clients, I will help clients, and I do deliver results for them in a way that is enabling them to grow their business, to feel more confident, and to recognize that they have got credible skills to share on video with their world. So another piece of another piece of the pie that fits in after you found the courage to speak is learning to sell. Because I've got the selling skills, I learned to sell in quite a soulful way quite early on, because I was the only girl in the sales team of blokes. They talked sport, I wasn't interested, and my focus was always on having the conversation one person at a time. I didn't care what the job title was. I just wanted the coffee and the conversation, and that's how I learned to sell. So there's no push about it, no ego, it's gone. So that's really some input on that, but there's a whole another course on selling from soul. I shift resistance with the energy alignment, and that leads you into soul alignment. One of the pieces of my 5-stage program is the soul code, and there's a session I run with clients to help them look at the time they were born. Their date of birth can actually reveal quite a lot, and the planetary aspects, numerological aspects, there's some big words in here today, aren't they? That can actually reveal purpose, so that people come from a place of purpose. And often when we come from a place of purpose, our work feels more aligned when we do that, rather than pretending. So for me, the sales experience was great experience. It helped me to come out of my shell a little bit, but I wasn't meant to stay there forever and ever. And I feel that I'm doing more aligned work these days. So a big word for you today: don't allow glossophobia to get in your way. So what is glossophobia? Glossophobia is the fear of speaking in public. There was a survey of people's biggest fears done a few years ago. A friend of mine wrote a book that was called Death Came Third. He was also avid encourager of people to speak in public. And in that survey, death was third on the list. And there you can see my pictures of me in action delivering funeral ceremonies. And What did that mean, that death came third? Well, people would rather be in that carriage, in that box, rather than standing at the microphone like me in the middle picture. So people would rather be dead than read the eulogy at a funeral. People are so scared of being judged when they speak in public. Their nerves take over, their natural instinct of fight or flight kicks in. And I encourage you to don't allow that to happen to you. There are ways and means of overcoming that, to reduce the nerves, to let go of the fear. That's where the energy alignment method comes in, and that's where I work with clients to help them to release that. So it wasn't always that way. I wasn't always that brave. Now, I know that some of this might seem a little bit strange, that I should be telling you this because you probably don't believe me. But there was a time when I was a young girl that I was actually quite shy. I didn't like speaking very much. I think it came back from being an only child for nearly 8 years, and I was quite quiet at home. But I was scared of speaking in class, reading. You know, when the teacher used to ask you to read a section of a book in class, hated doing that, used to hide behind the cover and refuse to be heard. I was frightened of what other people would think of me. I got an accent. You can still hear it. It's from Birmingham. I've not lived there for 30 years, but the accent doesn't quite go away. If I let that stop me, I wouldn't even leave the house. So I was worried about what people would think, that I would seem foolish when I spoke, that I would have to show vulnerability when I was on stage or in front of an audience. And I learned to overcome those things. And really, you know, a lot of that is down to actually physically doing. Do I still make mistakes? Sure I do. Do I let them worry me? Not if I can help it. So if you're worried about what people think, that you're going to mess up, please don't do that, because it's really down to gaining confidence from doing stuff over and over. And one of the ways I learned to gain confidence, to have the courage to go out there, was to observe others. So when I first went into my job straight from school, was working in a sales office, and I would sit and observe what the successful people did. How did they show up? What did they say? How did they treat people? How did they present themselves? And learning and observing actually helped me to step out and be heard and seen a little bit more. And then, as I said, I stepped out of my sales role 20 years ago, knowing that there had to be a better way. How could I use all of the skills that I'd learned so far and go self-employed? So the courage to speak out. I overcame the exhaustion of the fear and learned to speak to audiences. I gained confidence and credibility as I went. The credibility was about recognizing my skill sets and how I could help others. And almost you've got to take yourself out of the equation and think about, what does your client need right now from you? How do you help to them to solve their problems? What pains are they facing that you can assist them with your message, with your program, with the thing that you need to be talking about? That's what I did. And connections with clients and audiences to share your soul-led message are really, really key. And you don't have to go out there and speak to hundreds. The beauty of actually speaking live on a Facebook post is that it doesn't matter. You don't have to see anyone. I mean, you know, how many people are out there in their pajamas making broadcasts right now? So they might comb their hair and put a necklace on, but I've got scruffy old jeans on today. But had I been in front of an audience, I would have really had to get dressed up. So it's really important that you share, and just think of it as having conversations and chats. And that's how it can start off. You don't have to talk to a big audience to get out there. Most importantly, doing all of that, it's impacted my business, starting to attract higher quality clients more consistently, as an opportunity to speak as a credible online expert in my area of expertise. I have started to notice there are more invitations to speak as guest expert, and that gives you an opportunity to speak to a much wider audience that you wouldn't necessarily have reached yourself. So it's helping me to create a thriving business that's built on purpose and doing what I love. And there's one of the lovely thank you notes that I had from a client recently. So how do you talk and go rich? It's a wrap. There is the wrap. Release the fear, then the R. in fear is down to several things. The fear of you being rubbish, that's in your head. The fear of you being ridiculed, what will other people say, also not true. And most importantly, the fear of rejection is probably the biggest thing that's getting in your way, because what if somebody says no to you? And most people will resist the urge to go live and do what they need to do rather than hear no. Well, you can get over the hearing no and you just think no, next. And no doesn't mean no, never. No may just mean no, not now. No means that sometimes you didn't communicate your message right. So release any fears that you might be feeling about speaking in public, going live on a camera, being seen, because unless you get over that fear, you're never going to get visible to your audience and your potential clients. It's all about being in aligned trust. Trust in yourself, trust in what you have to offer, and trust in the way that you deliver that message, and trust that the clients will show up because of that. It's always about purposeful action as well. So it's all well and good coming up with great ideas for a talk, but unless you go out there and promote them and take the action to get out there, nothing is ever going to happen. So that is the wrap to start to talk and grow rich. So rich for me is not about, the money. It's not about the bank balance. That's great, but rich is a state of mind. I wrote a post about this recently, where that it's about recognizing your richness. People go on about this sometimes, don't they? That, we are in the top percentage of fortunate people in the world if we've got roof over our heads and food and water and heating in our house, because a lot of the population in the world don't have that fortune. And in addition to that, you've got knowledge and expertise that you can share with people to help them. They are your diamonds. So it's important that you share your diamonds. They're part of your richness. And the richness can help you to gather in the form of self-worth, self-expression, and sharing that richness of wisdom. The richness of wisdom that you need to recognize in the first place. Recognize and release it to the public. Tell people about it, because if you don't, it remains a secret, and it could be a valuable resource to your clients that right now. And if they're the right clients, they pay you for your services, then you will get rewarded. So they all go back into that richness pot for me. So you might be asking, so where am I going wrong, Jackie? I'm not attracting these clients. I'm not being invited to be a guest speaker. I don't know how to press that go live button. What if people don't like how I look, and if I mess it up, and if I stumble over my words? Well, I'm going to share with you now those 3 key mistakes that I see people making and what it's costing them to keep making those mistakes. So here they are, the 3 mistakes to avoid if you want to attract quality clients. Mistake number 1, settling for less. Settling for less shows up as attracting uncommitted, crappy clients, because they sense it in your energy. They will leech onto you, and you don't want that. It's about thinking you've got to compete with everyone else. You see, here is where people don't learn to differentiate. They don't learn to be bold and speak. And it keeps them stuck in that cycle of crappy client, less than, I can't compete with them, they've been in it for longer, they earn more than me, she's on 6 figures, all of those stories you tell yourself. Don't fall into the trap as well of less than when you give away your stuff for free or too cheaply, because all that will do is perpetuate the crappy clients, and you still end up with less than. You feel resentful because they're not paying you enough. You feel resentful because you're giving away valuable information for free, and it will not grow a business. People who give stuff away for free are usually charities, not businesses. As a business, your duty is to make a profit, and you have to earn money in order to do that. Exhausting yourself with demanding divas that won't change. Have you ever had a client that, yeah, I've done that, but I've done that, but, and they're the noisiest one in the crowd. They complain, they make excuses. I can't show up because they're signs that you're showing up as less than. When you learn to step into your power and speak your truth in a confident way, in a convincing way, then these things go away. And I want to urge you not to show up as less than. So what is it costing you? What do coaches settle for, and other business owners, incidentally? This isn't just exclusive to coaches. I just observe that market. There's a fear of losing out. So, you know, all new business owners, I worked with over 2,500 new startup businesses in a project that I ran some years ago locally, and most of them will compete on price because they fear that if they don't get it down on price that the customer won't buy. They fear losing out. They're coming from a place of lack. How many times have you heard your colleagues and peers saying, I need to get this done, I need to run a webinar, I need to get my sales page done, I need to set up an email system, I need to make a video, but I'm too scared. Need is not good. Need comes from a place of lack. If you were to change that into I choose to or I get to, then that is a better energetic space to be from. So never ever feel that you need to. It causes obligation. Obligation drives your energy down, and then you never ever escape that lack cycle. You don't trust yourself right now if you are settling for less than, because that little niggling head space chatter, the monkey chatter that says to you, you can't charge that to them, they can't afford it. It's not your business if they can afford it or not. Your job is to confidently present what you have to offer, give them the choice and let them decide. Not your job. So do trust what you do and do charge a fair price for what you offer. I have often said, and I've been controversial with this, that discounts are for wimps, because discounts show that you didn't trust the price that you should be charging for your services in the first place. So you feel this inherent need to drive down the price. And the trouble is that people who then want to barter with you are also in this cycle of less than. So it's back to crappy client time. And I'm just urging you to not do that. Poor boundaries, the ones that phone you up in the night, message you in the morning when you're busy doing other things, demand your time, interrupt you. It's because you haven't set boundaries, and it's all a sign of less than. You put up with things. So maybe it's stuff that you put up with at home, with your kids, with your husband, with your partner. Or you put up with things not being right in systems in your business, the way that people treat you. They're all signs that you are operating from less than. Not stepping up and investing properly in your business is also a sign that you're less than, because you don't trust in the outcome, you don't trust in your ability to get the results, or less than. And actually, I started to notice there was a pattern with some of the clients I work with. There was conditioning that had gone on from a very early age. You know, when you were a little girl and your mom used to say, children should be seen and not heard. I call that good, grateful girl syndrome. You should be grateful, my girl, that you even got a bar of chocolate today. Shut up and be quiet. Be a good girl. Be quiet. So we unconsciously store that one, and the fact that we stay quiet puts us off speaking right now, unless we find the courage to overcome it. But they all settle into that less than feeling. So these are just, you know, things that I observe as happening with that first mistake. So the cost of doing that is to carry on attracting those freebie seeking uncommitted clients, to limit your income, to feel frustrated with your lack of progress and get stuck in a rut. You won't get the success you deserve because you're less than still, and you might be looking at more bright and shiny objects which may not deliver the solutions that you're looking for. So what to do to stop settling for less than? Attract committed clients who are a joy to work with. Understand your value and attract the clients who also see your value, and then begin to value you more. set new boundaries in all areas of your lives. So this is just one of the clients I worked with who, when I first met her, was at an amazing low point and didn't have the courage to make the move from being employed to being self-employed, was incredibly afraid to speak in public, and she so wanted to do that, but it was fear was getting in her way, and she almost gave up on a dream of going self-employed. And I worked with her on the energy of the fear, the energy of having confidence to clearly communicate. And she just said that she'd learned that she'd restricted herself so much with the boundaries, but no more. And now Jo is incredibly successful, doing what she loves, speaking for a living. So let's look at mistake number 2, not speaking up, not speaking out. What happens when you don't speak up? Well, you'll regret it because nobody will know about you and your business will fail. Have you fallen into the comparisonitis infection? It is, isn't it? Because you go online and you have a look to see who else is out there. You know, oh God, have they beaten you to it? Oh no, I'm too late to the party with that. Oh no, there's somebody already doing what I do. And you compare why are they better than you? And usually it's better than you rather than are they worse than. So don't fall into the trap of comparing yourself with others. You are unique. And one of the things that I do when I work with clients is to bring out their authentic voice, to bring out their authentic message, so that they're not, I don't train people to show up as me. That would be totally out of integrity. And I've seen several presentation skills trainers who are, quite frankly, egos on legs, and the people watch and they emulate and then they try and pretend to be them. Don't do that. Don't compare yourself to others. Be you, be unique, show up authentically. That is the best advice on that. But when you don't speak up, you remain that secret, and the regret and the frustration show up. And in this case, silence most certainly is not golden. You need to be heard, you need to be listened to, you need to voice what you have to say. But ultimately they all come from a place of fear. So why people stay silent? Well, we talked about the death came third syndrome. People are inherently afraid to speak in public for fear of what people will think of them. There's this thing about being vulnerable, isn't there? Stories have power. We hear it all the time on social media. And if your story is something that's quite touching, is quite emotional, then opening up and being vulnerable may feel a little bit out of alignment with you. But vulnerability in a good way, when it's presented right, can actually engage with your audience because they may have had a similar situation. So people get afraid of fessing up. There may be tears and snot bubbles and all sorts, but that's okay. That gives you more authenticity. It makes you a real human. Not knowing what to say or how to say it, well, that's just down to presentation skill, isn't it? It's about planning ahead. It's about having some little succinct notes. It's about rehearsing it. It's about knowing inside what you need to express. It comes with practice. Not knowing how to reach out to the right people is another thing that maybe stops people, because they don't know who these better quality clients are, where to find them, how to hang out and connect with them. And ultimately, back to almost like reason number 1, there's a lack of self-belief that people stay silent. So the cost of staying silent is you watch your competition pick up the clients that you would have loved to have worked with. You remain invisible to the quality clients because you're not speaking out and getting out there, and your genius remains a secret. What happens when you stop staying silent? Well, that's when you start to gather momentum and confidence in what you have to say, what you have to offer people, how you can help them. It creates credibility. The more that you're seen as the expert in that topic, the better chance that people will inquire about your services to connect with your audience. It's about speaking your place of personal truth. And again, as part of the 5-step process that I take my clients through, we look at what are the truth tales that will engage with audiences to connect, to help them to take the next step. Maybe you've had a personal experience that will connect with the audience and make them want to take the next step with you. So why you mustn't remain silent any longer? Well, we touched on it earlier. So excuse me, I'm going to wipe my nose. There. I felt a runny nose coming on. There's a spiritual shift going on right now. If you haven't noticed, it's disguised as a virus right now. It's disguised with the controls that appear to be going on. It's disguised with lots of fear. But ultimately, you may have come across the term new paradigm in your circles. And my belief is that there is some sort of spiritual shift going on right now, and the soul-led speakers need to speak up to be part of that spiritual shift. There are clients in great pain right now. We've talked earlier about the emotional and the mental pain that some people are going through, as well as the physical pain. And if you have things that can help them, there is new opportunity as part of this spiritual shift. And your sole purpose is actually maybe pushing you right now to say, press the live button, make the video, do something about it. There's a reason that brought you to this masterclass. There is no coincidence. So don't remain silent any longer. If you have an important soul-led, soul-driven message to share, to help, to shift, to change, to transform, then you need to have the courage to speak and talk and grow rich. So one of the other clients I worked with was paralyzed with anxiety, wasn't happy, wasn't confident to talk even around a group table. And we worked on her energy, we worked through the business, and she went on and changed her career. She was able to shift and have the courage to speak up and speak out. And these were just words that she said, having had worked with me. So she didn't remain silent anymore, and now she's out there doing things that she really loves. Mistake number 3, not establishing your expertise as a soul-led coach or speaker. What that looks like? Well, you're afraid to address those new audiences, so you're not getting out there. You don't trust yourself, you're scared to fail, and you're scared to step out from the crowd to be seen and heard. It's easy to hide in a crowd, isn't it? It's easy to hide in a group. Maybe you've been hanging out in various groups on social media, but not actually stepping up as the leader. And I urge you, if you've got this important news to share with people, the way that you can help them, that you step out and step up. Why people make that mistake? Well, the fear, as we've already mentioned, gets in the way. That's a simple thing to remedy. We can work on that. Lack of clarity, so not knowing exactly what to say sometimes. What topic should you be talking about? How can you step aside from the crowd to be heard? Not owning that genius. So for you, I would invite you to go explore. Where are your zones of genius? What is it that you can do right now that you need to be talking about to attract clients in? Don't be vague. Don't be a generalist. Generalists fall into that category of just taking the business anyway, and that's how they end up working with crappy clients. And ultimately, you know, it's back to scared to failing, it's back to fear. And there is no failure, only feedback. And feedback helps us to grow and learn and evolve. So the cost of continuing to make mistake number 3 is feeling like you failed again. Not being a viable speaker, even though you want to be. Not earning your true worth, withholding your message, and not having an impact on your audience and ultimately on the world. So it's a big cost, and you cannot afford to continue going down that path. So what happens when you stop hiding? That your credibility increases. Credibility comes from getting out there and doing it some more. It's like the old adage, practice makes perfect. And if you can do that and do it in the right way, you can actually increase your influence. Influencers are out there all over social media, and you know, it's great if you can influence to wear fashion and makeup and hairdos, but there's some really serious stuff to be shared right now. Voices of hope, and they are the future influencers, and if you're one of them, I urge you to get out there now. And ultimately, when you get out there as a influence and a credible speaker, then you get hired as the expert and paid appropriately. So there's no more income ceilings on what you can earn from being a speaker. The sky's the limit. So how do you solve the problem of being invisible and not being heard? There's 5 stages of being a soul-led speaker. It's a system that I've created that takes people through so much more than learning presentation skills. So this, you may have been on presentation skills before at work, in your job. You may have taken an NLP training course. This 5-stage process is so much more than that, and will actually take you out of fear and into confidence and credibility. So step 1 is insight. You have to have the awareness. So the awareness that you're afraid is an awareness. The awareness that you may need to do something about it is also the awareness. So insight is about us having an awareness and then knowing that we have to change and deciding that we have to change. Why insight is important? Well, it helps you to assess exactly where you're at. It releases your speaker fears, allows you to make progress, and aligns you to becoming the confident speaker with a key message to share. So it's the key point, and actually the point at which I start with all clients to help them to transform, because unless you shift the energy of fear and the energy of less than to start off with, then you have not started at the foundation to build it up and keep it stable. So the benefits of having insight is that you gain clarity, you start to gain confidence, the certainty in what you have to say, and ultimately by doing it more, the credibility. So why people don't do this? Well, they don't do the energetic work. It feels a bit woo, it usually gets ignored, but actually it's the vital piece. They don't do the core work to create a sound foundation, as I've said before, and there's a fear of being vulnerable. If you do some energy work, oh my goodness me, we've got to look at emotions. I don't do emotions. You might be saying to yourself, well, let me assure you that if you can release those emotions that are getting in the way, you'll be damn glad that you're feeling into the happy and joyful emotions that we move you into as part of that process. So this is another client I work with, and she said that a session that she had with me was very transformative, and removing those blocks was allowing her to flow and get in. And now I know she makes very, very regular lives on Facebook with her healing company. So step 2 of the 5 stages of being a soul-led speaker is integrity. I touched on it earlier, but integrity is about you being aligned to your personal values. It reveals the real you. Now, remember I said to you before that the key to being a soul-led speaker is being able to show up purely as you, not pretending to be who trained you, not emulating someone else. It's about being able to share that and being on purpose. And part of this process in my program is we look at that soul code, where so looking at the time you were born, what the moon phase is, the numerological background, your human design, all of those pieces, looking at purpose, because there are clues as to why you showed up. Why did your soul sign up in this lifetime? And I can reveal some of those to you as well. When you understand that piece, then you can align your work and your message to that purpose, and that message then comes across as a very, very strong, powerful message for people ready to hear it. So the benefits of doing step 2: helps you to understand your soul purpose, helps you to work confidently from that place. And often a lot of clients, and I had this too for a while, you feel like something's missing in your life. You don't feel quite satisfied. It's not fulfilling enough. Enough is the word. That I don't feel good enough usually is another key to this. But when we come from that place of fulfillment and purpose, we then have the impact that we desire on our audiences. So it's really key that we do. So you see that, you know, getting rid of the resistance, moving into a place of purpose are really, really sound places to move into before we even explore speaker skills. So why don't people do the soul code piece? Because they're unaware that they've got a purpose. They look around and emulate people, and they try and fit in. Have you ever bought a blueprint and tried to fit in, and it doesn't quite work out that way, does it? And I've said they're blueprints and logic, and they're ultimately afraid to be honest with themselves. So step 3 of the 5-stage process is to interact. This is the key piece, isn't it? It's how we connect with people. It's how we tell our soul stories, how we hone our speaker skills. So there are key stories that you have and spiritual truths that you might want to share with people, and we bring all of those out as part of the program so that you're sharing those courageously and helping to connect with clients. What the benefits are: it will give you appeal, it will give you alignment with the clients and engagement with more of the right sorts of clients. Why most people don't do it? Well, they don't get it. They don't understand soul. They are, as we said earlier, faking it, pretending, trying to be someone else, and they're afraid to connect to that deep soul space within them. Step 4 is to inspire. So earlier on, I urged you, if you had a message of hope and transformation, to share it with the world. This is exactly it, to inspire your audience to change, to give them hope and inspiration and transformation, and to gain trust with you as you share your stories. The benefits are to give appeal and to align and engage with those ideal clients, a little bit like the other pieces. Step 5 of it is to influence. So really, by the time you've learnt how to align to this soul code purpose and be in a place of confidence and credibility, you then step into the final stage of being an influencer in your market. So influencers can get their message out to the world. You're seen as a credible speaker in your area of expertise. This creates opportunity for you and grows your business to attract quality clients on an ongoing basis. So you might be then invited to speak more. You might be almost a little mini celebrity in your world of expertise. And this is how we build on that particular stage. The benefits is really the expert status, having the credibility and speaking your truth for positive change and transformation for your clients. So if you take only one thing away with you today, I want you to know that you can speak to your potential clients without fear and without nerves, for the very reasons I've just outlined in that 5-stage process. So the big question is how can you apply some of that 5-stage soul-led speaker and attract your perfect clients? Well, there it is, the 5 stages with a little bit more detail on the slide of the soul-led speaker program. That there is the full curriculum of soul-led speaker. And as part of the VIP program that I run, working one-to-one with people, we address every single area of that with a training program and mentoring to go on inside of it. But you can waste tons of money going around circles, trying to learn off other people, going on those 5-day challenges and trying to find the answers out yourself. Figuring it out alone can take a long time and you can waste money and it costs you in the long run. So you can fast track with results and get involved and get some proper professional support if you really do desire to get over the speaker nerves and get out there as a soul-led speaker. So I've developed 2 routes for you to have a look at. There is a 7-week group program which will start at the end of this month. It's going to be run on Zoom calls with a Facebook group, and I'll outline that for you in a few moments. And there is a VIP intensive if you're the sort of person like me who prefers to work one-to-one with a mentor and focusing purely on your own work. I've got a 3-month fast track on that as well. So I want to spend a few moments just outlining that to you, so you then have a choice to look at whether this is or isn't for you. So the Talk and Grow Rich 7-week group program is, as I said, a live weekly program. It will take us up to just before Christmas. So good start for 2021. What's in it? The 7 weekly group trainings, all done on Zoom in the group with recordings. So week 1, we're talking about letting go of fear, how to align and stand in your power. Week 2 is about how do you express your spiritual soul truth. How do you speak eloquently on week 3 to look at those centers of geniuses? So we look a bit closer at that. How to create credibility, confidence and quality clients. So where to go and engage with people on social media. how to attract clients through speaking, though looking for opportunities to be the go-to expert on podcasts and lives on social media channels. How to price your program to sell, because no doubt you'll come up with some sort of offering, and it's really important that you don't fall back into that less than thing that we talked about earlier. So I will help you to create a program and price it to sell to attract the right quality clients. Nobody ever hired a cheap expert, so I don't want you to have cheap offers, because you'll end up with cheap, crappy clients if you do. And in week 7, we speak to sell. How to go guest expert, have the confidence to sell that program. So as I said, in the private group, in the 7-week program, there's a private Facebook group, a weekly Q&A in addition to, so we'll have a weekly training. I'll then hop on Facebook in the week, and if you have questions, I will answer them live on a video, on a live, so you've got them to refer to, and you have my wholehearted support during the 7 weeks of the program. So that's the 7-week program. It's for you if you're ready to let go of the energetic crap that's holding you back in fear and anxiety and worry. If you're ready to take action and step up and get into your purpose and share that with the world. If you want to get visible to the right clients, if you're ready to stop making excuses, if you want to hone your soul-led stories and create a viable offering for your clients, if you want to get clear on your true value, be confident and comfortable with your message when you share it, work with an honest, heartfelt mentor with the right business and spiritual savvy to help you, that is proven and works. And if you want to create a proven plan of action so that you go forward to get regular sales from speaking with your business. So that's the 7-week plan. And your investment for a 7-week plan is £888. This is the lowest point at which I will ever offer this, because this is the first time I have put the 7-week program together. So that's what we get for our money. There is a 2-part payment if you wish, but if you book and pay in full in the next 48 hours, and on the link below there is a bonus where you will receive a 2-hour one-to-one personal mentoring session with me worth £250. So that to pay is on the link below, as well as the pay in full. If you do pay on the pay in full, you will get the bonus session. I do only have 8 spaces available on the group program, because I believe that everybody should be given plenty of time on the training calls each week. So I am limiting the spaces available to 8 people. And as I say, we are due to start this the last Wednesday in October. I think it is the 28th of October, and we'll go live on the Wednesday evening with this particular program. So if you've got questions and you want to know more, please message me. We can set up an informal virtual coffee chat, and I can answer your questions on that. But that's the outline for the 7-week group program. So I've spent money in the past with business coaches. You're asking, will this work for me? You're asking. Well, yes, if you do the work. But if you do want to ask me some more questions, as I say, I invite you to have a virtual coffee with me and inquire. But if you know that you're ready, go to the link I've just listed for you and click on the buy it now button, whether it's the paying two payments or pay in full. But absolutely, the course is designed for you to get success and get it quite quickly, to get you the confidence to get out there. So if you put the work in on the steps that I outline with you and the pieces I mentor you on, it will absolutely work. Now, what if you're like me and you prefer one-to-one options? Well, as I mentioned earlier, there is a VIP program, and it will get you there faster because it's more intensive, and we're just focusing in on you. There is a bit more in-depth work, and you can find it and fast track your results by going through all of those 5 stages that I outlined earlier on the VIP intensive. Now, the VIP intensive, I would encourage you to book a discovery call. I've only got 4 spaces left on my VIP program. There is my Calendly link if you wish to book an appointment to have a 30-minute informal chat to see if we're a good fit to work together, if I can help you with your particular area of expertise. But with a 12-week program, I said I'd fast track, not spread it out, 12 weeks of one-to-one mentoring. We will get you there and get you out there as one of the key influencers in your niche market, so you've got the confidence to go out there. And I know, you know, I personally prefer to work one-to-one if I'm working on something. So if you know that that's how you prefer to work, then let's have a conversation. I promise not to shock you with the amount of money that I charge for it. It is in a launch place. I think I put it there. There we go. It's 3 months. It's intensive. There are 6 implementation calls and a full VIP day. So you've got 7 individual calls with me, unlimited access to a 24 module training program. So I will release some self-study videos on each topic within the 5 stages, and you can look at those. You've got lifetime access to those. There are worksheets for each of them. I will give you feedback before and after on your presentation if you wish me to. So you might want to send me a video at the very start of our journey, and we'll do one at the end, and we'll do a before and after review. There'll be an opportunity for me to give you an interview, or to do an interview with you, should I say, so that you've then got a show reel to showcase as you as the expert. I'll interview you as the expert, and you can then showcase that on your pages. I'll also give you the soul code reading, which is included in the 5 stages, which looks at why you are here, what is your purpose, is your work on purpose, and we align the two. And for the 12 weeks, you've got my undivided support throughout the program. So as I say, if you do want to have a look at that, then that's fine. So this is just really referring back to the 5 stages. So I'm going to just shoot through these very, very quickly. So we've mentioned earlier, it's about insight and integrity, about interacting, inspiring, and then influencing, and the 24 modules. That is the whole of the VIP program that you can have a look at if you wish to explore that journey with me. So it is a bigger commitment for 3 months. It will be at a special launch offer. I only have the 4 places available. It's an investment in you and your business, but what it will do is propel you forward as an expert in your area of business. So let's have that call if that appeals to you, and we'll see if it's a good fit. So there are some bonuses which I will are for the VIPs. So if you book on the VIP after our discovery call, we've got an extra interview to showcase your skills. There's a soul-led speaker, fear video training guide, and a step away from speaker nerves, relaxation visuals. But they're for the VIP bonuses. But let's have that conversation first. So my refund policy, I actually get asked this sometimes. I don't have a refund policy because what I share with you is gold dust, but I will offer you a guarantee. I will work with you until you have a soul-led message and the skill to present it to your audience, and I will work to help you to share and get that out there to have the impact that you desire. So if you have any doubts that you have come to the right place, then let's have a conversation, because I fully trust in what I deliver. I fully trust in my ability to help you as a mentor, and as a result of that, that's why I offer the guarantee. So I came across this quote the other day, and in light of what's happening out there at the moment, that I decided it's better to scream. Silence is the real crime against humanity. So there's a lot of noise out there at the moment, and a few people probably do feel like screaming, but isn't it time that you got your message out rather than remaining a silent secret? So if you know that it's time to stop remaining a silent secret, it's time to step up, it's time to speak out, it's time to receive richness through sharing that soul-led message. There are clients waiting for you. Think about the clients. It's not about you, it's about sharing that message for those clients to hear. Isn't it time to step up? Thank you for being here today, and I really value your attention throughout this presentation. I hope that you've learned from some of those mistakes, and you now know what you could do, what is possible, where the potential lies for you. If it has grabbed your interest, here are the links for the next steps. If you want to make a change, you have to take action. Here is the detail for the group program, and also if you want to talk to me about being one of my VIP clients, there is also the booking for Calendly. Message me on Messenger if you can't be bothered to go through Calendly. I'm happy to set up an appointment with you to have a talk through. And again, if you've got questions on the group program, then, you know, talk to me. So I've been Jackie. Thank you so much for attending this masterclass. I hope that I can help you, and I look forward to working with you at some point in the not too distant future. Please don't remain a secret. Get your soul-led genius and your soul-led messages out there and be the speaker that you were always meant to be. I'll speak to you soon. Take care now. Bye.